Everyone things got completely out of control outside a nightclub in Miami after Terence Crawford and Gervonta got into a fiery confrontation that nearly turned disastrous punches, flew, tempers exploded, and both fighters found themselves at the center of a massive controversy. The situation reportedly began after Davis crossed several lines, taking direct shots at Crawford and even disrespecting members of his family, and if that wasn't enough, he also ridiculed Crawford over his pursuit of a mega fight against Canelo Alvarez. People close to the scene say bad blood had been building between the two stars for a long time, but last night everything finally erupted in dramatic fashion. Let's get into exactly what happened. Imagine the atmosphere of packed Miami nightlife scene filled with celebrities, athletes, and influencers all gathered at one of the city's most exclusive clubs. Among the high-profile guests were Terence Crawford and Gervonta, who were both enjoying a night out following their recent bouts. Initially, the two camps stayed far apart in different VIP sections, but as the evening continued, their paths eventually collided. Eyewitnesses claimed the mood instantly shifted when Davis walked toward Crawford, seemingly looking to provoke him. What began as light trash talk quickly became far more personal once Davis started insulting Crawford directly and even dragging his family into the conversation. The disrespect reportedly shocked everyone nearby. Crawford, who is usually calm and disciplined, reportedly tried not to react in the beginning, but the moment Davis started mocking Crawford's attempt to secure a showdown with Canelo Alvarez, the tension reached another level. Davis allegedly laughed in his face and told him Canelo wasn't even paying attention to him, accusing Crawford of chasing a massive payday rather than a real legacy fight.
A fight with you and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and Turkanash know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
And when do you want to get out next? I know you're here in London tonight. When are you going to be in a camp? When are you going to be in a camp? I know you're
in
here.
Camp, training camp in March.
Okay, so
at the beginning of the middle of the February.
That comment pushed Crawford over the limit. Within seconds, he charged toward Davis and threw a punch that stunned the crowd. Security personnel immediately rushed in, trying to separate both fighters, but the situation had already spiraled into total chaos. Fans started yelling, phones came out from every direction, and the entire club turned into complete confusion. It became one of those unforgettable scenes that people inside the venue will probably talk about for years. For anyone who has followed boxing closely, this confrontation didn't happen out of nowhere. The hostility between Crawford and Davis has been growing steadily for months through social media shots, interviews, and constant back-and-forth comments. The drama reportedly started after Crawford mocked Davis over not receiving an invitation to Turkey Alalshik's exclusive Ring Magazine Awards event in London. Davis clearly didn't appreciate the jab and eventually responded by accusing Crawford of caring more about huge paychecks than proving greatness, especially after Crawford began targeting a fight with Canelo Alvarez.
Are you retiring?
What changed? What made this
Trash, garbage.
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
Madam. Gervonta, something should have happened at the time, because when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like the talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything? Where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford or Leonard Edelby usually they're around to?
You think you might be gaining love for it though? You never know. Because like say you got to walk today.
From there, the verbal attacks only intensified. Every response became more disrespectful than the last. While fans enjoyed the online rivalry, nobody truly expected things to escalate into a physical altercation until now.
Crawford, just won his debut at 154. Said if the money's right, we'll fight. Everybody wants that fight. What do you feel about that matchup? People saying the weight, all this stuff. How do you feel about that?
You know, everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And, you know, like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2-3 weights plus less than me. But if the money is right, why not? Right? Why not? But look, I'm focused 100% on Berlanga. I know I have a challenge in front. I never overlook any fighter. So I'm focused 100% in this, and then we...
Now let's focus on the entire Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez situation, because that topic played a major role in Davis clowning Crawford's decision to move all the way up to 168 pounds in hopes of challenging Canelo for the undisputed super middleweight championship has created major debate throughout the boxing world.
Terence Crawford was Turkey Alalshik at the other event across town. Put out an open challenge to you on the internet with Turkey Alalshik calling you out. What's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
Some fans view it as a fearless challenge, an opportunity for Crawford to strengthen his legacy by facing one of boxing's biggest superstars. Meanwhile, critics believe the move is more about securing a massive financial reward because they don't see Crawford having a realistic chance of defeating Canelo.
Hey, I want Canelo. Is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh, man, you'll whoop his ass.
Like, yes, man type stuff.
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Magdalene.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stone.
Davis definitely didn't stay quiet regarding that issue. Reports say he openly laughed at Crawford for believing Canelo was interested in fighting him. Davis allegedly claimed Canelo had much bigger names to focus on and suggested Crawford was practically begging for the opportunity, as if it were his final career payday.
metal shield and you have a glass shield. Talk about the punch resistance. What do you think it takes to test it, man?
You gonna see? You gonna see?
Could he get it in the future?
Too early.
I mean, you came up from 35, right?
He ain't fighting no real guys at 47.
See, okay. What about everyone's talking about Errol fighting the winner of Canelo and Jermell. Could you ever do that? Is that too much weight or
what? 168?
Yeah.
I ain't going up there.
Right.
So you got Canelo winning then, right? And then
Be fighting that.
To be fair, a lot of people inside the sport have described a potential Crawford versus Canelo matchup as more of a spectacle than a true competitive boxing contest. Many believe the fight is designed mainly for entertainment and blockbuster revenue.
My brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring. I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford could match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't.
Several boxing analysts have argued that Crawford should first test himself against elite contenders at 168 pounds before receiving an immediate shot at Canelo's titles. Davis' comments clearly struck a sensitive nerve, and according to witnesses, that's ultimately what triggered Crawford's reaction.
Is that career defining? Is this a legacy fight for you? Well, when I got shot, for me to change my life the way that I did and stop hanging out with the guys that I hung out with, my career started going up. And yes, this is a legacy fight for me. This is a mega fight. This is a superstar fight. This is all those in one with me and Errol Spence Jr. A lot of people, they writing me off because they say, oh, well, he's too small, or he haven't fought nobody like Errol Spence, or his resume is this, or his resume that. There's a lot of things that a lot of people can say, but on July 29th, all the answers to everybody's questions.
Fan completely exploded online once reports of the Crawford and Davis altercation surfaced. Social media instantly caught fire with trending topics like Shark Club Chaos Crawford versus Davis and boxing controversy taking over timelines. Many supporters defended Crawford, saying Davis crossed a line by involving family members, while others believe this is simply classic Tank Davis behavior, keeping himself in the spotlight as retirement rumors continue to grow, and honestly, whether people love him or hate him, Davis knows exactly how to generate attention and keep fans talking.
What changed? What made this trash? Garbage.
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
Gervonta, something should have happened during this time, because when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like the talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything?
Can
you give us where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford or Leonard Edelby usually they're around to?
You think you might be gaining love for it, though? You never know. Like I said, you got to walk today.
But Crawford isn't the only person Davis is making headlines with. Rumors are already circulating about a possible rematch against Ryan Garcia, and the numbers being discussed are absolutely enormous. Reports suggest the deal could reach nearly $150 million, with financial backing from Turkey Al-Sheikh, the same influential figure helping organize some of boxing's biggest blockbuster events.
Again, if they're not on some host, I'll text that ass again. Tell them boys to give me 150 M's. I'm coming. You know what I mean? When I start streaming out that, and that, stop it, knock it off, cuz. Stop it. Tell them send that bag, and I'm coming. And I'm,
Turkey Alalshik's influence goes far beyond simply investing money. His vision has been centered around creating larger-than-life boxing spectacles and crossover super fights. He has become one of the driving forces behind many of the sport's biggest events and currently appears heavily connected to both Crawford's future plans and Davis' next moves.
Canelo, Johnny Boy Boxing, Fight Hype. I just want to ask you, what do you think about Terence Crawford? What do we think about Terence Crawford's performance, and do you want to get a fight with him?
If the money is right, I mean,
$100 million. I heard Turkey offered you a big money already.
150.
150?
Boxing fans have been talking non-stop about how much Turkey Alalshik is changing the landscape of the sport, transforming every major fight into a worldwide attraction. Whether it's Crawford chasing Canelo or Tank Davis intensifying rivalries, it all feels connected to a much larger strategy designed to dominate headlines and keep audiences completely invested. And with Davis possibly nearing the final chapter of his career, many people believe even more explosive moments are still coming.
More weight classes. Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo has, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we'll see how that panned out, you know what I mean?
So what does all of this mean moving forward for Crawford and Davis? Well, for Crawford, this incident could become a serious problem considering he's reportedly preparing for the biggest fight of his career against Canelo Alvarez. The last thing promoters, sponsors, and television executives want is negative publicity involving a public altercation. Situations like this can create major complications, and in extreme cases could even affect negotiations for future fights.
I want to box some more. I want to do therapy, right? But I feel as though if I do therapy, it will lose the fire that I have inside me. I want everything out of me where so I don't never think about fighting again. I don't think about even getting angry, you know what I mean? Because I have two girls, two daughters. I'm wanting to be much softer, you know what I mean? Be more humble.
As for Davis, he has hinted several times that retirement may not be far away. He's already scheduled for a fight against Lamont Roach Jr. at Barclays Center, while discussions surrounding potential showdown with Keyshawn Davis continue gaining momentum. However, this nightclub incident could overshadow what may end up being the closing stretch of his boxing career.
They talking, they talking,
They can't do nothing
they
with you, they can't do nothing with me.
they talking, but you know how I get, you know how it's gonna 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 get.
A machine, a real machine.
You know how it's gonna get,
a real one.
And I promise you, now I promise you, you better leave them home. You better leave the females home. On my mother, you better leave the females home and the kids. On my mother.
Yeah,
now watch this.
They gonna
now
be there.
watch.
They gonna be
now
there.
watch. Now watch.
What's different from 10 minutes ago?
You know how when they told you say how like I posed for Lomachenko, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like how he said like he was retired and things like that. I feel as though like we've been in it so long that we are getting tired of it. Like we've been beating our body up so long, but it be like situations like just now, like where he talking that spark the plug again.
Yeah, that's what
Is that all
I
it takes
want.
for you? Is that all it takes? Just a little comment?
Nah, but that's what I want though. I don't want you to fight me like you saying you're going out.
It always go like this. It always go like this.
Nah, what I'm
always
saying,
get the
you just said you feel like you going
and
out.
they go to
I don't
sleep.
want you to feel like you going out.
Both fighters could face fines or suspensions from boxing commissions, and the court of public opinion is already weighing in heavily. It's a messy situation, and the repercussions could be significant for both men.
Thanks for saying that he wants you, things like that. Does that stuff just sound crazy, or just like I'm supposed to be called out? You know.
When you look at all the great fighters that was getting called out by everybody from different weight classes, so it's nothing that I'm not surprised about.
A tank would be something that he said he'll touch your chin and.
Man, everybody say what they'll do, but Tank is in his weight class for a reason, and I don't see him come up to 147 to face me.
Both fighters could potentially face disciplinary action, including fine suspensions or additional penalties from athletic commissions, and public opinion has already become heavily divided. The entire situation is messy, and the fallout could seriously impact both men. Thanks for saying that he wants you things like that. Does that stuff sound crazy, or is it just normal for someone in your position to get called out when you think about all the legendary fighters throughout boxing history? They were constantly being challenged by guys from different divisions, so honestly it doesn't surprise me at all. As far as Tank Davis goes, he talks confidently and says he would touch my chin, but every fighter says what they believe they can do. Tank is fighting in his own division for a reason, and I don't see him stepping up to 147 pounds to face me anytime soon. Both fighters could still end up dealing with punishments from boxing authorities while the court of public opinion continues, debating who was truly at fault, and the consequences may become very serious.
Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin. So tell him to come and touch me.
Wow. Man. Devontae said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him to come and touch it.
At 147?
At 147. I'll make 147.
Ooh, see, oh man.
You're gonna have a pre-camp.
then what the people.
Just imagine the level of excitement if Crawford and Davis eventually decided to settle this rivalry inside the ring. It would instantly become one of the most talked about fights in modern boxing, and fans everywhere will be glued to every second. Although there are major obstacles preventing a fight like this from happening, the demand from the public is undeniably massive. Now, the big questions remain: what penalties will Crawford and Davis face? After this incident, could this confrontation eventually lead to an officially sanctioned bout, and how will all of this affect their reputations and legacies going forward? Right now, the boxing world is anxiously waiting for more developments. One thing is absolutely certain: this story is nowhere near finished. Whether the battle continues inside a boxing ring or through personal animosity outside of it, Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis clearly still have unfinished business. We'll continue following every update closely, so stay locked in. And let us know your thoughts. Are you backing Crawford or standing with Davis? And do you think this rivalry eventually becomes an official fight? Make sure to leave your opinion in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest boxing news and drama. See you in the next video.